What's poppin', everybody? It's your boy Joey back again with another video. Well, another episode of Assassin's Creed 3 anyway. It's been a bit of a long day. Felt like it was good for me to get an episode of this in. The last thing I remember, it's actually been a few days since I last recorded, so the last thing that comes to mind anyway that I remember was that Connor got his assassin robes from Achilles, and we also got a ship, and we got a crew. And now we're playing as Desmond because Rebecca and Sean have located a power source for us to get further into the Isu temple. And if I'm correct, I'm pretty sure that they said it's somewhere in Abstergo. So we have to break in here and get it. And they gave us a parachute, so we're going to have to drop in that way.
Hold still, it's a lovely view.
Seriously, Sean? Fuck you.
Well, we were all thinking it. Sean is really annoying in these games. He does get a little bit more tolerable, but earlier on he was such an asshole. Come on, Desmond, keep climbing. You're an assassin, damn it. Trained using the Animus and the ancestor of the great Altair and Ezio. Up this way? Yep. I could totally do this, no problem. I don't even need a parachute. Pfft. Nah, this...
Look on the bright side. No security to worry about.
And on the not so bright side, the slightest misstep means you're effectively paced.
Shut up, Sean.
Shut up, Sean. Do we go... No. It's this way. Nice slide. No. Nope. Desmond, stop being stupid. I was about to call him Ezio. When you play as Ezio for a long amount of time, you... oh, shit! Well, when you play as Ezio for a long amount of time, you eventually begin to,
Just a heads up. There's no elevator
Yeah.
from here on out. You'll have to get up there the old-fashioned way.
slide under, stupid. Oh, shit! Okay. Okay. Well, that was terrifying. I think I'm going the right way. Okay, yep, now I definitely know I'm going the right way. Gotta gain a little speed. Well, this is terrifying. Oh God.
Almost there, Desmond. Once you reach the top of the lit-up crane, you should be high enough to make the jump.
Should?
It'll be fine. Don't worry.
Should.
You might want to worry a little. I'm pretty sure she was high when she was running the numbers.
Sean!
Joke. It was a joke. Or was it?
I mean, she could have been. Yeah, me and Rebecca, we're out there blazing it. But yeah, like, I kind of have a bit of a fear of heights. Like, depending on how high I am, like, it's really sketchy. Like, I start to sweat a little bit and might shake. Yeah. I was watching this one movie called Nerve, and in it, people do insane dares and stunts and all that stuff. And one guy's dare was to hang from a crane with one hand. That's insane. We ain't gonna be hanging from the crane.
Jump when you're ready, but wait for my signal to open the chute. Timing's really important here. Too soon or too late, and you'll miss the building.
How do I pull the chute, though? Okay.
Now! Open your chute, now!
I'll press any button to open the chute, okay. Okay. Yeah, had me nervous there. This is a beautiful view, though. Nice. It's the power source that we need.
That wasn't so bad.
So, you must be Desmond. Not exactly what I expected, but I guess your kind doesn't have many options these days.
Who are you?
Ask your father. Now give me that.
I don't think so.
Look, I'm not supposed to kill you, but the boss man didn't say anything about fucking you up. So you got to the counter.
I think that went quite well. I mean, if I were Desmond, I probably would have just thrown him out the freaking window.
So who the hell is Daniel Cross?
Believe it or not, he used to be an assassin. The assassin, the way I've heard it told, but it turned out he was a sleeper agent for Abstergo, programmed to infiltrate and destroy the organization.
How did he know you were there? We could be compromised.
They must have caught me snooping inside their network and sent Cross to see what we were after. If they were aware of our current location, we'd know. Though, I will say this. It doesn't bode very well for future expeditions.
I've set up some cameras topside. If anyone shows up, we'll see it.
I'd suggest you go see about finding a socket for that power source. Or we can return to Connor if you prefer. All the artifacts in the world won't mean a thing without the key.
I think we have a mole in the operation. And I think that mole is Sean. Hi, Dad.
I owe you an apology. I shouldn't have lashed out like that. You have to understand, I've never been very good at this. Never mind that we live rather extraordinary lives.
Yeah, I kinda liked my ordinary one.
You can't escape who you are, Desmond.
So I've noticed.
Look, it's silly for us to go back and forth like this. I admit, I did a shitty job raising you. I apologize, I'm sorry. But it's important you understand it didn't come from a bad place. You're my son. I love you. I guess I was so busy trying to make sure nothing bad happened, I didn't consider the consequences. Truce.
I can't believe it's taken me so long to ask, but... how's Mom? She's not...
No. Your mother is fine. We decided it was safer if we split up for this job.
Always assuming the worst.
For good reason.
Can I at least say hi to her?
I'm sorry, it's too risky. Maybe when we're done.
Right. When we're done.
Any other words of wisdom, Pop?
Have we ever tried to make peace with the Templars?
Throughout our history, there have been moments. Several, in fact. But it's impossible. There are existential differences, insurmountable. If there were to be unity, it wouldn't be a truce so much as a submission.
But knowing what's about to happen, wouldn't it make sense to try and talk to Vidic? Come to an arrangement, even if it's only temporary?
We'd all be so busy watching our backs, nothing would get accomplished.
True.
Imagine that. We're more productive at war.
Well, have we ever tried sending in someone? Doing to them what they did to us with Lucy? Or Cross?
We have, and it's never worked. We've sent people who were either too weak, found themselves turned, or too strong and were unable to carry out the charade.
I just feel like we all want the same thing.
We use the same words, but that's all they are, words. In the end, it all comes down to freedom. We seek it, they detest it. And so there's never an end to the fight. Not until one side is completely gone.
Is that even possible?
Probably not. Our two groups have existed in one form or another since, well, since forever. But things can be better than they are. And that's something.
Did you look for me, Dad? When I was gone?
Every day.
Come on.
I mean it. Every night I'd look, searching for your name or variations of it, hoping you'd slip up. Abstergo only found you first because they had better access. A few more days and it would have been me.
Well, I'm here now.
And I'm glad.
Do you think Lucy regretted what she was doing?
I used to think I knew her well, but clearly that wasn't the case. So I really can't give you an honest answer.
She seemed so sincere, though. Like she really wanted to make a difference.
Yes, well, when I first met him, I thought the same thing about Cross.
It just keeps happening over and over again.
What does?
Everything.
Don't get weird on me, Desmond.
No, it's fine. I'm fine. Don't worry.
All right, then. You should think about getting back in the Animus. We've got to find that key. We should probably get back to Connor. Come on, Sal. We've got work to do.
I know it's probably not as entertaining, but I enjoy their conversations. And sometimes they talk about very important things, such as the Isu or the assassins, so it's always good to learn more.
Desmond, there you are. Can I ask a favor?
Maybe.
When this is all over, I'd like to try turning the dial back on the Animus. Like, all the way back. To the time of the first civilization.
You think it would work?
There was no real loss of fidelity when you visited Altair. Then again, that was about 1,000 years ago, and I'm looking at going back at least 70,000 more.
Sure, I'd be up for it. Be interesting to see what things were like back then.
Excellent. I think it would prove most enlightening.
I would love it if Ubisoft did a game where it was like just the Isus. That would be so cool. Sorry about that.
So this is how it started.
What are you up to?
Just brushing up on my American history. I say history. They certainly teach you strange things in the States.
Like what?
Well, for all the talk of this being a revolutionary war, it was a civil one. Well, not that kind of civil. I mean, there was no America versus Britain. It was Brit on Brit action. And you can clearly see how the whole thing got started. One war gave birth to the other.
You mean the 7 Years' War?
Exactly. Seems the Crown overspent in its attempt to keep the French out, wound up with a great deal of debt. Believing that the colonists should help to shoulder the burden, new taxes were created. It was a reasonable request, even if Parliament was rather, well, undiplomatic about it.
Well, it's not really fair to tax people for a war they didn't want any part of.
What? Didn't want any part of? Did you not notice George Washington with Edward Braddock? He was right there in the middle of it. So here you have the Crown spending who knows how much money to secure a place for the colonists to thrive, and then, when they ask for a little bit of help... Right, look, think of it this way. King George and the colonists They all go out to dinner, right? And when the bill comes, George asks for them to kick in and pay their share. Fair enough. But keep in mind, he's been taking them out to dinner, gratis, for decades now. The colonists, oh no, they insist they only had a glass of water and a side salad. Never mind the table's full of half-eaten food and empty bottles of wine. Now when the king points this out, what do the colonists do? Oh, they flip the table over and they storm out the restaurant. Probably intending to turn later and burn it down.
You left out the part where the king pointed a gun at the colonists and asked them to cover dinner for everyone in the restaurant.
Right, yeah, interesting take. If he pulled out a gun, and I'm not sure he did, it would only have been after the 100th failed attempt at getting them to pay their fair share.
But how do you define someone's fair share?
Oh, well, with a war, apparently. I wonder how many other places like this exist.
There are dozens of them, all over the world.
And somehow no one's ever found one before us.
I don't think that's true.
Oh?
When I was at Abstergo, Vidic talked about silencing discoveries made by non-Templars. And I'm sure Abstergo has dug up plenty.
The things they must know.
Regretting throwing in with us?
No. Just looking forward to when we can finally trounce those bastards so I can dive into their archives. Oh, I think I found a lead on another power source. Later, Desmond. I'm in the middle of something very important right now. Just that's a rule. Just follow that as a rule.
Alright, I want to talk to, actually, I want to check my emails here real quick. These are the modern day missions that you can do as Desmond. But I want to take a look at, this. Wait. No. 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 That. Is it that? I think. So this is like a message that, that Juno is sending through the internet or through the... I don't really know how, but she's sending a message to Desmond. And this is another one here. It works. I should hardly be surprised. Electrical impulses move from one pathway to another. You call them networks. Our word for them was more akin to road. It is yet difficult to project a thought from one medium to another, and yet it works. It works. It works. Another message from Juno. I have found a way to better control the impulses to formulate a thought that transmits and transmit it. To add a sense of structure, a sense of order. You fear order. Your kind of gentle hand tends the flock. It is a kindness, not cruelty. I wonder, will you ever understand your enemies? Do in their own way, but they share your base heritage. Their concept is flawed. They are not worthy. You have all proved unworthy of our gifts. And this is Sean talking about Juno, saying like... Sean is saying, looks like Juno's really taking a shine to you. I suggest you don't engage her. There isn't time to go down that rabbit hole. It's sure to prove a badger's den. Besides, the whole experience is actually... the final door, salvation was it, but for us, who knows, here we sit working towards something we know next to nothing. But it's only our chance to let theirs, I suppose. And Juno getting pissed off. You shouldn't meddle in affairs that do not concern you. It's like, lol, somebody doesn't like me. All these Juno visits and emails too, apparently. I've got me thinking, what happened to Tenia and Minerva? I think Tenia was a another word for Jupiter or something like that. Those were the three main Isus, Jupiter, Minerva, and Juno. They're the ones who invited us to the little apocalypse party. Now they've gone and buggered off. A little inconvenient, not to mention rude. I'll try and poke around later. Alright, well, that's basically all that. Where's Rebecca? Is that her? Yep.
I know everyone thinks I'm being silly, but I can't shake the feeling we're being watched.
We are being watched. By Juno. Or some version of her.
Do you think it's a recording? Or is she a ghost? Or something else? Is she talking to us the way Minerva talked to Ezio?
More or less.
No clue. I mean, who knows what else they were working on down here? There's still so many rooms we don't have access to.
But do you think she's like literally down here, waiting somewhere, still alive?
Still alive? That's mental. That means she'd be at least 75, 80,000 years old? No, powerful, yeah, but not that powerful.
They came down here looking for a way to survive. Maybe they found one.
They could have.
Was it weird seeing Cross?
What do you mean?
It's different for you. You don't know about what happened, I guess. For a long time, he was important to us. He was a different person.
Sean said he was a sleeper agent, like Lucy.
It was different. She made a choice, but Cross, if you read the files, Abstergo just... They did terrible things to him.
Rebecca?
You're lucky. We all are. We have people who care about us, who look out for us. He was all alone, and the people he thought he could trust, they used him.
Did you know him?
No, but I knew Hannah.
Who's that?
She tried to help him. She trusted him. But there was a raid about a year ago. She stayed behind so the others could escape. Tried to reason with him to see if she could fix things.
Well, what happened?
What do you think happened? He killed her. That's what he does. That's all he knows how to do. Sometimes it seems like that's all any of us know how to do.
Rebecca.
Now Rebecca's getting real. In the past game, she used to joke around and just poke fun, but still get her work done. But now, emotions are high, and she's starting to lose it a little.
I just want to be alone right now.
Okay. Alright, well that's enough talking with, with our team. What we need to do now is put the power source in the little port thingy. And I know right where it is. Right there. If you're ever trying to find where to put the next power source in, it's where Juno is. That was Rebecca talking, not Desmond.
Only one way to find out.
If it was, then Desmond sure had a very feminine voice. Unlocking more of the temple. I love it. Now we need to open that door there, but we need the key first. He'll be fine. I want to take a look what is over here now, because that means there's more story to tell of Juno and the Isus.
What is a fact? Is it fixed? Immutable? Certain in its existence and only awaiting discovery? Or might it be changed? Here we learned the answer, and thought that it might save us. They were used to command, to control, to own. But we soon discovered another use. When enough sat in thrall and were told to believe, their thoughts took on form. What was imagined became real. If 100 minds could wish away a wall or create a tree, what might 1,000 do? 10,000? More? Might we change the consensus and will the threat away? We resolved to send one into the sky where it might illuminate us all. Once placed, a sentence would be uttered. Make us safe. In this way, we would change the consensus. We would save the world. But it never came to be. We sent a dozen of them skyward, but there was no way to maintain control, to direct the beam, to enthrall the world, to speak the words. Though this was strange and dangerous, what we tried next was worse.
So, when they're talking, it's hard to understand what they're trying to say. It's very frustrating sometimes, and you can really see like the stress or the anger from the assassins here when they try to hear the messages that Juno and the others are trying to tell them. But what she was just telling Desmond there, well, I'll explain that after this one.
Our first instinct was to travel back, to change the past. But we could not find a way. But forward, we could look forward. And so here we sought to see beyond ourselves and know what was to come. First we watched to learn if our work would succeed. But the answer was always the same. So we moved on to other things. But she remained. The one you call Minerva. In time, she too stopped looking, and instead began to speak. She called out across time, in the hopes that you might be saved. She hid messages where none might find them, save for you and those within this place.
Fascinating.
Tired of it. The cryptic warnings, the threats. Just tell us what you want!
But they are. We saw the Nephilim there. We seemed like grasshoppers in our own eyes, and we looked the same to them. Imagine trying to explain all this to a 2-year-old, to a grasshopper. When they said the will of the gods was unknowable, they meant it. Literally.
I killed her, you know. I killed Lucy.
It was the apple, son. It was Juno.
I saw what she was. What would happen if I let her live? I could have stopped myself. I mean, there was a force there. But I didn't have to. I chose to.
Desmond.
Lucy was going to betray us and take the apple back to Abstergo. I saw the satellite launched. I saw them turn it on, and then it failed. Whatever's on the other side of that door, it benefits Juno. We need to be careful.
Okay, so Juno. So I said before that the Isus created Homo sapiens, which is people. So they created people to basically be their slaves, and I think she was saying that that like they started to develop like their own sense of like I don't really know how to best explain it. Like they developed like their own like thoughts, opinions, and everything like to be a regular human being, and they went against the Isus. And I think Juno was trying to say that that they were trying to find ways to prevent the Great Catastrophe from happening. As she was saying that we sent machines or something into the air. Maybe they sent out satellites into space, or maybe they sent pieces of Eden into space. I don't really understand what she was trying to say, but they sent in something, but it wasn't effective in what they were trying to pull off. They didn't stop anything. And then, in this second one here, she was saying that that Minerva was trying to send messages to heed warnings about the Great Catastrophe and to prevent it from happening. And as you can tell, Desmond is getting very mad with all the cryptic riddles and stuff that the Isu have been trying to tell him. Like, it's very vague about what they're trying to say. So, like, it's very difficult to understand what they're trying to say there. I don't know if I can talk to Juno over there now. I think that's gonna be for later. I could be wrong. Oh, careful. Oh. Come on. I don't know. Nope. For frig's sakes. I don't know if I can talk to Juno again. We'll see. Juno? No. I think I need another power source. Yeah. Then she'll tell more of her story. But that's all they have to offer right now. And that's all I have to offer. That's going to be the end of this episode. I know it wasn't very extravagant or very action-packed, but there was a lot that we just learned more about the Isus, and it's so interesting to me learning all this stuff that they did and all the work they've done. Like, it's just incredible to me. And I love the dialogue between all the people, from William Miles to Rebecca, and the history with I think his name was David Cross. I could be wrong about his first name, but yeah, like, you get to see like the emotions of how most of them were betrayed and how they've lost like many friends to Abstergo by them taking control of them, by manipulating them and turning them into sleeper agents and all that stuff. So it's very difficult for them to process and live with the consequences of all these actions. But yeah. So that's going to be it for this episode. I hope you... Yeah, I am so tongue-tied right now. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. If you have, then hit the like button. If you like the content that I'm producing, then hit subscribe, and then hit the notification bell so you can know when I'm uploading next. Once again, I'll say thank you, and I will see you guys in the next episode.